So now that we're getting information into our inbox, how do we conveniently and easily store that information, manage those email messages in folders, or perhaps even use automation like rules? So stand by, we're going to jump right to how to do all of these things in this very brief video. So first option to kind of manage information within the environment is to create folders. Now we went over creating folders in another video. It's very simple. Just right click and create the folder and then star it to make it a favorite. So I've just created the square brackets here. One option is that I can drag this email right into a folder. So to do that, I hold my left mouse button down and I drag it, and you see where now it's highlighting slightly over that folder? If I release, it's going to automatically go into that folder. So that's pretty neat. I can also move this message, I can also move this message using the move command. So here, if I do a right click, I could say move this to the inbox, right? Or move it to another folder. I could create a new folder. Or I could hit copy and I could say copy this now to the inbox. So if I hit copy to inbox, let's see what happens. We keep it right here inside of square brackets, but notice now that the message is here as well. Pretty magical. Now I'm going to delete this message from square brackets because the last example we're going to show here today is to create a rule. So creating a rule, I know, is intimidating for some, but it's really very simple. So let's walk through it together. So here we have the email message, and we're going to do a right click. Now it's important to note that I'm using Office 365 on the internet. So this is the Office 365 Outlook client that's on the internet. So I'm going to do a right click on that email message, and I want to set up a rule. Do you see the square bracket in there? So for me, when I assign a task or ask somebody else to do it that's outside my organization, I assign a task ID inside of my task manager, and I put a unique character, the square bracket, and the task ID within it, and I tag it to the end of the email subject line. So you can see it there. So we're not going to talk about task management and Outlook in this video, but just realize that there's a square bracket there. You see that square bracket? So back to the rule. So let's do a right click, go advanced options, say create a rule. Easy so far? I think it is. So here we're going to say on what folder, and we're just going to select square brackets. It's not real important right now, so no anxiety needed. Let's just create anything because we're going to change all of this in a minute. But here it's telling us to move all the messages from me to this folder. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click on more options. Now when I get to more options here, I'm going to have to move my screen over apparently. There we go. When I get to more options, I come here into the settings area, and you see here mail and rules. And now right now it's saying move all of these to square brackets. This is just the title. Number one is just the title. So I'm going to name it square brackets. And then I'm going to say, hey, actually I may have one in there already from another video. So I'm going to put square brackets 2 just in case. Okay. And then I'm going to say, I don't want it from this individual. I could create a rule to do that, but that's not what we're looking for. Right now, what I'm looking for is I want to say that my subject here, I could do subject or body, and notice all these different settings that I have. But I'm going to say subject includes, and I'm just going to put a square bracket. Now, remember that square bracket is the key right near your enter key. So I'm going to put that square bracket. That's it. I don't have to put any other information. Because the square bracket is so unique in a subject line, it's going to find it every time. And then I'm going to give it an action. Now I can give it one action. And oh, by the way, I can add or, right? I can create an or statement. I can add, I can do all kinds of things here. But right now I'm just doing nothing. I just want this square bracket. That's it. The next thing, the next action, sorry about that. Next action I want to do is move that. Now I could copy, delete. I could do all kinds of different actions here. I'm just going to move it in this case. Move it to the folder called square brackets. Okay, and I just selected that there. I could add other actions as well. I could say, hey, tell me when this happens. I could do all kinds of things and add exceptions. We're not going to go into great details. This is just an introduction to rules. And so stop processing more rules once this rule is run. So what that says is once the rule square brackets 2 has run, it's going to stop processing all the other rules. And I'll show you the other rules in a minute. We're going to say run this rule now. And then you can't see it on your screen, sorry, but in the lower right hand corner, click save. Now you can see here I have another square brackets rule in here of what I created the first time. So when we said we just want to run that rule, we don't want it to continue running other rules. So that's a normal default. And here I'm going to delete this rule, by the way. I'm just going to click right here. Just delete the rule. That's not the one we just created. We just created this one. So now we can just close this out. Let's go back and take a look at our inbox. Now notice that our inbox here, that that message with the square brackets is gone. Let's see if it went where it's supposed to. Sure enough, it did. Right there. All it keyed in and on was that one thing I just highlighted there. Just that opening square bracket. Because it has an opening square bracket with a number in it, now we can move all of our files into there. Now for me, from a task management perspective, that square bracket indicates that I assigned that task to someone else. And because I assigned it to someone else, I want to make sure that I'm balancing this with my tasks. But view another video on how to do task management and use rules to help you with that.